Greetings, YouTubians. Today is Get Shit Off Your Chest Wednesday. And I'm not keeping anything from my YouTubians. Okay, jumping into the mouse. Mouse! More mouse coming. Okay, let's talk about gun safety. And I'm going to get to a point where I made a mistake. And I was a proverbial dumbass because I know better. And it doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you're half asleep. It doesn't mean if you're completely asleep. You always know when something is loaded or unloaded. You know, I might want to call that firearm alzeimers, if you may. And those of you that get it, get rid of it. Get rid of that firearm alzeimers. And anytime you come back from the range, check your weapons. Anytime. At the range, check it. Even when you get home, if you're not sure you checked it, check it again. Because I always check things more than once, more than twice, even with 3 blind mice. Now, getting to the point. Mouse! Bam! Love black coffee. Now, Mark made a mistake many months ago, you know, and Mark don't make mistakes like that because Mark knows the safety. And I guess you guys realize that I used to have an extra Glock 17. You see, Tommy Lee Jones is fine how he is. I love Tommy Lee Jones. I love, the simplicity of that Glock 17. So I decided to get another Glock 17, and I'm going to get to this in a minute, the FMK, or AKA Jimmy Shaker. Now, the thing is, what I did, you see, I know better than this. Because when I took the Beretta, I finished with it when at the range, checked it, cleared it, put it in the bag. Farted. Any gun that I have, I checked it, cleared it, put it in the bag. The AR-15, checked it, cleared it, put it in the bag. No magazine in the damn thing because I got to clean it. And the same with my SIG 2022. Checked it, cleared it, put it in the bag, ready for cleaning. However, it doesn't matter if you're asleep, half sleep, daydreaming, or having a nightmare at night. You know when your guns are either loaded or unloaded. You should be able to spot that. I mean, I might want to call that firearm alzeimers. Because if you don't check your weapons when you leave the range, the probability of an accident goes kind of up. Minimal risk, check your weapons. Maximum risk, don't check. That's it. That's how it is. So apparently I had an extra Glock 17. It was a police trade-in. I got it from a pawn shop. I'm not going to say which one because I respect them and it's not their fault. It's my own damn fault. I should have noticed it. So what happened was, you see, I know a lot about Glocks. I know a lot about them, even though I've had them for a very short time because I didn't like Glocks before until I researched it and I realized that the 17 is the one that molds in my hand. I have no disrespect on the 19. I just don't prefer it. So anyhow, this is the FMK slide, but I'm going to show you an example. When I got that police trade-in, they immediately told me it was a police trade-in. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm sure the officer must have been a responsible person. Apparently, Dum-Dum acted like he was in Dexter's laboratory or something, or the gunsmith that he used was a real fuck-up. So there's something about Glocks that I know that I've examined and, okay, put it this way. This is the firing pin block right here. This is a firing pin block. This prevents the firing pin going forward and striking the round when it's in the chamber. Apparently, as I didn't even notice this, and when, let me compose my, mouse! So anyhow, apparently the firing pin block had been filed down. And I did not notice that. You know, apparently I was taking apart that Glock. You know, the trigger had like red and blue or on it, and I'm like, this is weird. Why would somebody change out a Glock trigger, a perfectly good Glock trigger? Because I love the triggers. And I said, it's no different. I already fired the damn thing. And I didn't notice anything. And so then what happened was, when I was taking the slide off, I didn't even notice there was a round in the chamber like a dumbass, because I don't make mistakes like that. I don't, because I know if it's loaded or unloaded, or I wouldn't be making this video. And then next thing you know, the slide went forward, and BAM! The damn thing went off. And it scared the pojies out of me. And I don't get scared. I'm like, holy shit. And what happened? It loaded another round in there. And what I did was I ejected the magazine. I kept my composure. And I ejected the live round out of there too. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I looked again when I took it apart. And it's like, what the... Somebody filed down the damn firing pin block. And, I go, okay, this is new. Okay, it doesn't look like we can use you for home defense, even though I do like you because you're a Glock 17. And I was like, So I immediately sold it. And I informed the pawn shop, I informed them that this right here, the firing pin block was filed down. I didn't even notice that. And now, anytime, say like if I bought another Glock, that's one of the first things I would do. I'd notice this, make sure that it works. Because this right here is the fine line between firing and being safe. The firing pin block. So, basically, that's our little Glock story right there. And that's the reason why Tommy Lee Jones and Sam Gerard do not have an extra backup, and that's why this right here exists. This is the FMK. It's similar to a Glock. It assembles like a Glock, disassembles like a Glock. And that's why this one passed with flying colors. Shout out to FMK. Sponsor me, please. No, I'm not asking them for a sponsor. They're a firearm company based in California because Lawson sucked. And that's when I had my first negligent discharge because the firing pins on those things were so sensitive. You barely touched that trigger and boom. And that was my first negligent discharge. And, basically the way I see it, if you don't check this, if you buy a Glock, you make sure that this thing is working. And make sure it's not been filed down or tampered with or whatever. Because whoever the cop was who owned this gun obviously did. And I'm glad I got rid of it, even though I know I got less than what I paid for it. But hey, I am not going to have no unsafe firearms in my house. Mouse! So, anyhow, this takes apart like a Glock, puts back together like a Glock. Look at that. This is Jimmy Shaker, and it's empty. And it won't fire without a magazine in it. Should I? Should I not? Should I? Should I not? Should I? Should I not? Nope, not going to. Anywho, the FMK is really good. Like I said, when I first bought it, it's a firearm company based in California. They put out damn good products, and I like the way this shoots. And I already tested it, and it doesn't have a safety. Thank you, no safety. So when I first got this weapon, because I've seen the reviews on it, and some good, a lot bad. Some people saying, "Oh, it's a piece of trash. Don't even waste your money. For the money that you spend on it." This is very, very cheap. So the point is, with this weapon, I figured, I think I see why. People purchase these, and then when they purchase them, they go to the range and fire off a few rounds, and then it jams. It's like, What they didn't do was examine the damn weapon before they took it to the range. They didn't do this. Okay, I got you home. You now belong to me, baby. And so you take it apart. You examine it. Spray a little WD-40 or whatever on it. Clean it up. Oil it. And then you do something that's pretty educated that you have to do, because that's what I do to every firearm that comes into my possession. So it's now together, and what I do is I just do this. They say the slide has to be loosened up, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. They say you got to break it in, and the extraction. Ooh, the extractor, man, this is a long one. That could be another problem, but it's not. Just don't put your finger over it. And so what I did was I just like did this about 50 or 60 times, and then okay, it's ready to go to the range. And then when I first took this to the range, I fired it a couple of times. FMK is a very smooth pistol, sidearm. Mouse! So, wow, somebody's knocking. Jeez, neighbors. So anyhow, when I fired this at the range, I only had 2 hangups. One failure to feed and one failure to eject. But out of the, because see me, I don't believe in that 200 round volley that you have to put through a sidearm to break it in. I believe since this holds 10 rounds, 20 rounds is efficient. I don't got enough time in my day to fire off 200 rounds just to break in one firearm. I think 20 rounds is just enough to handle whatever it is you need to handle. And this right here works like a charm, and that's why I chose this one. I renamed it and gave it the name Jimmy Shaker. It's FMK. Take a look and see. It says FMK on it, and usually it says stuff on the back like thank you for whatever, armed services. I can't really read it. My eyesight, I need to get my eyesight checked. Jesus Christ. But anyhow, this gun is safe. And right now it's no trigger. Put the magazine, you got a 10-pound trigger. At least a 9 or 10-pound trigger, even though. So you put this in a holster, it won't go off. So therefore, anytime you get a firearm, you inspect that damn thing and make sure that all the parts work the way they're supposed to work, especially that firing pin block. Something I did not notice when I bought it. Because I took it apart and I put it back together, didn't think twice about it. And then when the damn thing went off, I was wondering, why is the trigger has so much play? And then I looked, like I said, and the firing pin block had been filed down. Son of a bitch. Just because he has that shoe right there to protect from accidental firing, if you have a round in the chamber, doesn't mean that the firing pin block is not free to do whatever the hell it wants to do. You do not tamper with that. You do not tamper with that. Asper cream for my back. So, other than one thing led to another. And I'll tell you right now, do not, anytime, I'm just going to say it. Anytime you get a firearm, inspect it. That's it. Be the adult about this, not the left-footed, backward-ass stepchild that doesn't know anything about firearms, because I know plenty about this, and I know how to use it too. So, anyhow, YouTubians, that's the education lesson today. Sorry the video's so long, but the thing is, I just love you guys. And I take my gun safety very serious. I know I kid around. Mouse! I know I kid around a lot, but the thing is, I'm very serious about firearm safety. Very serious. I'm a real jokester at times, but the thing is, I take everything serious. There is nothing about me that'll put rounds in a gun, rack it, and then go, hey, YouTubians, bam, bam. No. Because there are people that live over here and people that are kind of... So just remember, take your firearm safety serious. Check your weapons. Check your weapons. And that's all I got. It's building up. Mouse! Black coffee so good. Later. Later? Hey.